Well, I got to tell you, the very first time I met Eric, I would barely call it a meeting, but my brother Bob took me up to one of the studios in Manhattan. I'm not sure which one, maybe Right Track or something. And they were working on Creatures of the Night, and they were mixing Love It Loud. And there was Eric Carr. You know, he's not a tall guy, you know, but the hair was huge. And he's just lounging on one of the couches. All studios have like beautiful lounges, you know. And, you know, I said hi, but I didn't really know him. And it was really weird. They were working on the fade to Love It Loud, you know, how it goes away and it comes back and stuff like that. And it was really a trip. I really loved what I was hearing. But really, I got to know Eric very well on the Animalized tour, because now I'm really the new guy, technically temporarily, but which became actually permanent until '96. But it was funny, he was already jaded by the fame and what it was to be in KISS with all the ups and downs. I know Bob knows, he didn't like doing The Elder. He said, this is a big mistake, you know, stuff like that. But certainly Animalized, what a great drum sound, right? And then Creatures even had a bigger one anyway previously. But I remember hanging out with Eric, and Eric would be, you know, I was having like the time of my life. I'm playing lead guitar with KISS. Oh my God, this is the greatest thing in the world. And Eric was like, you know, he would complain about something. At one point, I just said like, stop, please. Anybody would give their left nut to be in the band. Stop it, please. We became very close. I don't want you to think that he was a negative guy. He was very, very lovely, and he loved the fans. He was the guy who would answer every, you know, they used to write back then, it wasn't emails, and he would write them back, and he'd go down to the lobby and meet the fans. It didn't matter if it was, you know, 5 degrees out and we're in Sweden, and he would head out and make sure he could meet the fans and sign autographs. And he was super creative, can sing great, write great songs. He was a tremendous drummer, very powerful. He was very funny. The banter between Eric Carr and Paul was always very precious. And I think some of that was just them burning off their nervous energy, kind of. They would one-up each other with silly things. And you know, Gene would be like in the bathroom taking a number 2, and they're throwing toilet paper over the thing, you know, pranking. He'd eat chocolate bars for breakfast, some crazy things like that. Well, but he was really a special guy, so creative. It was very sad, of course, that he wasn't well enough to work with Bob on Revenge, but I'm glad, as sad as it was, but we did it for the right reasons. We were able to have him appear on the record, and he sang great backgrounds for God Gave. You know, I have one track of that, one sample where, you know, in the quiet part, you really hear Eric's voice. He had such a beautiful voice. So I loved doing Rockology with him. That was a lot of fun, his solo record, which is very popular on streaming. Did you know that?
Yeah. I didn't realize, I made a mistake that I thought we were going to the top of the hour. This is actually